I'm Gregg, Jarrett. You're in the strategy room. Democratic White House hopeful Senator Bernie Sanders spoke before an unlikely audience of Christian conservatives at Liberty University Monday, encouraging students to find common ground on issues like wealth inequality, poverty. But one thing that fiscal conservatives can't get on board with, Sanders' plans for bigger government with a huge price tag. Here now with reaction, political strategist David Mercer, Brad Blakeman. David, at first blush, it would appear that an avowed socialist has little in common with Christian conservatives, but he did get some smattering of light applause. But what was the point, really?
Well, I think it was not going after votes necessarily, but going after minds and to have a dialogue, and where there can be accord on issues that are a challenge that we have to address and find solutions to facing the American people, and that better to have engagement than distance or a lack of dialogue. And I think he went to establish that. And as you pointed out, he, being a Jewish senator and avowed socialist running on the Democratic ticket, that he was not going to let any differences or disagreements get in the way of seeking engagement of their minds and dialogue rather than just their votes.
You know, Brad, the Wall Street Journal, as I mentioned in the introduction, added up all of the government-funded social programs that Sanders wants to create, a so-called complete welfare state, some call it, and it came to an astonishing $18 trillion. My goodness, even the most profligate would choke on that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, especially when at the time of the next president being sworn in, our debt is likely to be $20 billion. So Bernie Sanders doesn't talk very much about how we pay off the debt we've already incurred. He's talking about an additional $18 trillion in spending. And that's not to mention the entitlements that we're already on the hook for, which far exceed that amount. I'm talking about Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security. Bernie Sanders is not talking about fixing the obligations we're already obligated to. He's talking about a whole host of spending. And let me say something about the Christian audience he spoke before. If you notice, they were very polite. They came out of curiosity to hear Bernie Sanders, and I give him a lot of credit for showing up. But I guarantee you, he's not going to get any votes out of that crowd, because there's a mismatch in ideology that can never be reconciled by a Bernie Sanders presidency.
You know, David, Sanders is now beating Hillary Clinton in both Iowa and New Hampshire. The ABC News poll has Clinton's support dropping by 1/3. Support among women, notably, has cratered. Is her campaign in a free fall, and is there anything that can arrest it?
Absolutely not. And what will arrest it is going into New Hampshire and winning the primary or caucus, primary, going into Iowa and doing the same. And then you go to South Carolina, a different constituency and demographic. You're doing the same in Nevada. And then you're going into the Super Tuesday primaries and caucuses. And so this is a long haul. Yeah. And it's not just two states that define a candidacy for the presidency. And we'll see which candidate has the best resources, the best vision and program for bringing forth a more secure economically and otherwise America. Now, with regard to Bernie Sanders, I think that Bernie, again, deserves a credit for going before an audience like that.
Sure.
And you're right, at least what Brad had said, it's not adding on to our budget, but at the same time, it would be good to see that governors around this country started to expand Medicare and provide access to affordable care and providing for Social Security and stabilizing that. That's what we should be focused on, a lot of which Republicans are resistant to doing.
Brad, to the point that David made, look, if Hillary Clinton doesn't win in Iowa and New Hampshire, the first two contests, even though she may appear to be leading in the Super Tuesday southern states and South Carolina and so forth, that could change dramatically if she loses the first two, right?
Oh, there's no question about it. And that's where Joe Biden comes in sooner rather than later. I think if you look at the polls with women, Hillary is tanking amongst women, and that was that was going to be her bread and butter. She was pandering to that group to make her the first woman president. They're not buying it anymore.
Right.
She's neither trusted nor liked within now her own base. And she's in real trouble. And that's why I think Joe Biden's going to jump in. And if he does, he's going to shake up the race totally.
A scant 39% think she is honest. Got to leave it there. We're out of time, guys. David Mercer, Brad Blakeman, good to see you both.
Pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you.
You can check out foxnews.com for more on the 2016 presidential race. I'm Gregg Jarrett, and thanks for watching.